Leave it. Leave it. Hello, you guys. Sorry, I am getting on like 3 minutes late. Okay, I see y'all coming on. I was trying to put my baby to sleep, but y'all can see it didn't work. Okay, so please forgive me because I thought she was going to go to sleep, but hey, nonetheless, single momism. Okay, so I am so happy to be on tonight. I know it's been a little while, you guys. I have been gone for a little bit, but I told myself I'm not doing that no more. I don't need to have everything together to get my show back on. Hey, to get my show back on. So we just gonna kick into gear. Thank you guys for coming on. 7. No, mommy. For coming on now. Y'all, she done messed with the camera. We are going to get right into it. I have the amazing, we actually know each other from California, from the Bay Area, so I'm so excited. And being a new mom, I'm even more excited to hear all the information that I know she has to give to us. She going to drop some real knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead and chime you on, boo. Let me make sure that I do this the correct way, because last time I had a little So those of you that are probably watching me for the first time, this is the Ebon show. I'm going to be going back to doing this every Tuesday. Really? God. And tonight is my first time back in quite a while. So please bear with me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and add you on, boo. There you are. 7. Stop, please. Accept. I'm hitting accept, but it's not, what am I doing wrong? Can I see you now? There you go. I'm like, now I should be able to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yes.
I'm wondering if we're lagging. Like, that's my worst fear, is for us to start lagging.
Listen, girl, I'm like, go to sleep.
It's all right. Listen. We can't say we love the babies and then just try to shove them in the closet. So
right. Girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I try to shove mine in the closet all the time. But,
listen, because honestly, sometimes you need a break.
Right.
Sometimes you need a break.
So we are going to hop on into it. Tell everyone who you are. I will let you go ahead. It's probably better if you explain it because I don't want to mess up anything. Tell them where you're from, what you do, all your brands you have going on. And we're going to jump right into the interview.
Yeah. So I'm Andrea Weaver. My pronouns are she, her. I am originally from Oakland, California. We don't ever let you forget that.
Right.
Exactly. I am a full spectrum doula, and what that means is someone that supports pregnant people trying to get pregnant. In my case, trying to get pregnant. I help fertility folks, pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. What else? So I have a.
Girl, you said
I
what
founded
else?
a business.
I'm like, dang, that was a lot right there.
I founded Nurture and Flow, so it's my business side. I co-founded Birth Ruckus, which is a nonprofit that myself and my co-founder and my best friend, Clarice Woods, founded to begin serving in this way for Black and brown birthing people, specifically folks that may not be able to afford the services that you would normally get with a doula, especially comprehensive. So, yeah.
Girl, listen. For us on this side, in my mind, I'm like, dang, let me try to get my resume up because that was just, a nice little, so.
Yeah.
I'm just happy because I know I've been following you. Of course, we know each other already, but I've been following
from high school.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been following you, and even I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that you were a doula because when I was pregnant, I was looking for a doula, and here in Georgia, it's different, and a lot of doulas that I was finding that could meet my criteria of time, just different things happen to. Not that I'm a racist, but they happen to all be not women of color. So,
and that's exactly right.
Yeah, so I was looking for something different. So when I found out you were a doula, she was already like 8 months. And I'm
I
You got
know,
health
huh?
insurance,
I think I
free
reached out
everything.
to you in that time. I was like, hey, girl, you good? You all
Um,
right? You got everything you need?
you know, and I
You
was
know,
like, oh my God, I would have so done that. You know, because I had my sister here, but she was great. So I really didn't need a doula because she was doing
yeah.
everything. And I have my other friend that's here as well, Vanessa. We all lived together, so it was like ideal. You know, they were helping in
Yes,
different
that's
things.
really it. Because doulas, we bridge a gap, but we don't replace people. We're not superhuman,
Right.
right?
Oh,
And I mean that's part of the reason why we decided to do birth ruckus was because our both of our pregnancies and childbirth experiences was a community thing. I grew up with folks birthing babies,
okay.
so it was not a new thing. But to know later on in life that it wasn't common for
Right.
folks to have community before, during, and after baby.
After.
That is not common at all. And then when we look at this space in particular, it is very much centered in whiteness.
It is.
And the folks training doulas are white.
They are.
And they are not, yeah. And so that's the other side to the nonprofit is for doulas, for aspiring Black and brown doulas that want the hands-on experience. Well, in order to get certified, whatever the hell that means, you have to have so many births. Well, if you don't have a support system to help you get through, it doesn't really matter,
Well, let me
right?
stop you
So,
because you're answering some of my questions that's on my list over here.
mhm.
And I got to get to my
All
questions.
right, get to your questions, Queen. Get to
Because,
your
girl, you
questions.
is ready. I'm like, okay, damn, she answered that question. She answered
Now,
that
listen,
question.
I used to facilitate before this. So this is like my next move in my life. So I could
Okay,
talk all day.
got you. I'm like, she got it. But no, I'm glad you just said something about training. Because I wanted to know, I'm like, well, what is the actual training for a doula? Like, do you have to be a nurse? Is this like a nurse? Because, I mean, technically, it's almost like because you're going to be there when she's giving birth. You're going to be helping her with that process.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you were in a hospital, that would be a nurse, right?
Well, it's not the same. So we give insight. So the scope of a doula, at least in here in California, so I'm going to speak very specifically because some of these things you cannot do in other states, right?
Right.
And then there are some things that folks train you not to do, and I'm going to do it. So
Okay.
one of the things is your emotional and physical support for your folks. So it's not just once you get to the hospital. I'm building a relationship
Correct.
with you through pregnancy,
Right.
leading up to labor. We talk a lot about labor and delivery, but there's so much shooting in the gym before you get there. And
Exactly.
so when we talk about training, they're usually talking about how to prepare someone for birth, and that's it.
Exactly.
Right? Or you do a full a postpartum training, and they're telling you how to care for the baby, things to look out for once baby's home, and that's it. Where you have to learn your clients
They teach y'all
enough
at the
to.
hospital or with the doula?
That's just with the
Oh, because I was
doulas,
about
right?
to say, they don't
What
teach you at the hospital.
doulas don't do any medical anything.
Okay.
We're not supposed to. Now, there are some nurses that are doulas, but not all doulas are nurses.
Okay.
Right? You technically do not have to have training. You can consider a doula to be your partner in the birthing space, right?
Okay.
Or someone to confide in, to help you make decisions, to empower your decisions, to give you information. We don't tell you what to do.
Right.
We're just arm in arm with you and bridging the gap in care.
Okay.
Because you don't see your you see your doctor once a month.
Exactly.
All this other stuff happens in between. You can call your doula at any point and say, hey, I'm freaking out.
Right.
Come through. Or, hey, I need something. Or, hey, this thing came up. Can we talk this out? I have someone that's in early labor right now. And we talked this morning. And I was like, yeah, I think you're going to be all right. She was like, what?
Like,
I said,
okay,
girl,
drink
the
some
sun don't
water.
come up. I don't think you going to have no movement. She was like, Drea, please don't say that. I'm like, it's too early.
Right. It's too early. It's okay. And
But it's also okay, right? I'm not gonna make you feel stupid.
Exactly.
Then we met later. Like my job is to empower your birth decisions. That's my job, right?
And, I'm glad you said that because every doula is different. And I mean, even though I didn't have one,
Yeah,
it seemed like their styles were very different. So,
very
like,
much so.
if you could describe your style of being a doula, also as a Black woman, what does that style look like for somebody that's never, that like me, I was looking like, what is a doula? Like, what would be your style?
Um, I'm not a quiet doula. I'm very much an advocate for my clients and what they need. I spend a lot of time coaching.
Ah,
Like I said, we shooting in the gym. So some doulas, you may only, depending on someone where they are in their birth, you may not talk to them every day, but I'm
right.
usually checking in. Um, I'm not a yes person either. So
Mm,
we're working on mindset shift because for Black and brown women, we go into these spaces, or Black and brown birthing people, or Black and brown folks, period. When we go into any medical space, we usually go to the hospital and we're like, just make us feel better.
right.
And that's how pregnancy and labor and delivery is treated, like it's a sickness when it's not. And so,
Exactly.
like, one of the things that I ask folks, I'm teaching people about their rights as well. So one of the things I always ask folks is like, when do you think you can leave the hospital when you go into labor?
Mm,
And, you know, you could guess, but it's at any point, period, full
yes.
stop. You could be crowning, you can leave the hospital.
Right.
California, I ain't going to speak on other
Right.
states. But in
Here
California,
they will
that's what you can
actually,
do.
they will do, because I know the first, when I left when they wanted me to stay. I ended up coming back the next day because I was actually going into labor, and I still wanted to go home because I wanted to make sure my daughter's room was ready. Her things were ready.
Hmm.
I know I was, girl, I know I was tripping. But they were like, if you don't stay, we'll go ahead and have the officer downstairs make you stay. Because once you get into the hospital and you're going into labor, and so, if something happens to you on the way home or whatever, they would be liable for you. So they would actually make, I don't know if the
I
lady was
would
just
ask,
trying to be,
I would ask I would ask you, any person that experiences anything like that, let me see your hospital policy.
mm,
Let me see it.
yeah,
Because the policy that's not written down is not policy,
exactly.
right? You can admit yourself to the hospital, but as a human that has rights,
Uh,
you can also change your mind. And birthing people should be free of coercion.
do you think that's why it's so important to have a birthing plan before you go in to give the hospital?
No, birthing plans, they can also throw out of the window. They don't have, they like, I mean, I think the most important thing is to really be honest about your birth.
Okay,
That's the first thing. Because it's not like the movies.
right.
It's not easy. It's not glamorous. And a lot of us get caught up on Instagram
Right.
or all these other sites where we see these moms that are doing just amazing. Oh my God, everything's so beautiful. That's not everybody's
Oh,
experience. It's not. And
it's
to
the
be real,
worst.
and then on top of that, what we don't talk about enough is postpartum. And I want to clear up postpartum for everybody.
Let's get on that right now.
Postpartum is just simply after birth. That's it. Recovery for women or birthing people after they've had a baby, you are at risk for postpartum complications for about 2 years after you have the baby.
Hmm.
That includes mental health disorders, eating disorders, body dysmorphia, a heart attack,
What is
stroke. You are
body?
still
What's that?
open to that. Hmm?
You said body dysmorphia. What is that? I don't think I ever heard that.
Yeah, so looking at yourself in the mirror and not recognizing you, I think that's like a very I don't think I'm doing a good job explaining that. Body dysmorphia is looking at yourself and not feeling connected to your body, right?
Huh?
So it could be different parts of your body. It could be looking in the mirror and seeing someone really big when you're actually really slim. We
Okay.
hear that a lot, and it really is connected in some of the like eating disorders. We hear it when our bodies don't heal the correct way. So like the peeing that happens,
Right.
pelvic floor issues, like all these things are so much a part of that space.
Uh huh.
Um, yeah, so I just want to clear up postpartum. So anything can happen within those, but the further away if you get away from birth.
Now, do you think that some
Your
women,
birth.
just because this is a question, because postpartum is a very big thing, especially
Yeah.
with me being like a new mom as well. I know a lot of other new moms, and I think with the Black community, us as Black women, it's almost. Do you feel as if most people kind of look over postpartum with Black women as if after we have our child and you're going through things and you're just trying to figure out you really? Is that something that's
Yeah,
really common in?
I think so. That's a big question. So I'm going to answer it as wrap around as I possibly can.
Okay.
So what we see in it's Black Maternal Health Week, right? So let's just talk about it in like a Black lens specifically.
Okay.
When we talk about rest, right? The number I've had to teach every single person that has come through my care how to rest, because rest is not sleep.
Mm.
Rest is being comfortable actually resting and not doing, because
Okay.
your value is not in being busy. Your
Exactly.
value is not in what you produce. Your
Mm-hmm.
value is what you can give and your capacity, and that is it. And
Okay.
our capacity changes over time. However, as Black women, we are not allowed often, even in our own social groups, to rest because the word lazy comes up.
Ah,
The
child.
word bad mom comes up,
Right.
right? When in actuality, if I am overstimulated,
Uh-huh.
I am not feeling supported,
Right.
what good am I to my baby? If
Exactly.
I feel like I'm ready to jump out of my skin,
Mm-hmm.
how am I supposed to be the mom that I want to be?
Exactly.
And then we start talking about the language that we use for ourselves in this space. We don't give ourselves room to
Exactly.
rest,
Mm-hmm.
to be imperfect,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
So it is very, very much cultured in the space when we really start thinking about postpartum, but you see it in pregnancy. We just ignore it,
Exactly.
right? So everybody has an opinion. Everybody shares their negative stories, their
Right.
trauma-ass stories to you,
Uh-huh.
right? About their experience instead of supporting you where you are. And as a
Right.
society, we have to get better at that. And accepting that folks have different birth journeys. That's just what it is. And so I wish I could say it's just postpartum, but it's all the things. And then here's another thing, and y'all not gonna like me for saying this, but your partners and your mamas can't be your doulas. Sorry. Because they can't, you have to have someone, unless they are like specifically there for that and they've been
Yeah.
trained or they have,
Mm-hmm.
but because this person is still close to you, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
They can do their best, and it's not the most terrible thing. If you get a
Exactly.
doula or take childbirth education classes and then y'all are on the same page and all this, it works. But a
Right.
lot of times we put a lot of pressure on one
Yeah.
person to be all the things for us, and that is where we fail. And
Mm.
a part of that is us not wanting to be vulnerable enough with our community to let them know that we're struggling.
Oh, that definitely makes sense. So but also I think that would, do you think that would fall under, I guess, just speaking, most people don't have communities to be able to have that support, right?
Why not?
So it becomes just your mother or your
Why
your partner.
not?
I mean, I think that's just, it's not the old days no more where you know your neighbors and your friends. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm speaking for other people because I do, but that's not the world we live in anymore, right? We don't live in a world where we taking our neighbor's food down the street and you can let your kids, run up and down the street and you know everybody down the block and you don't even have to cook for the first few months of your
Mm-hmm.
birthing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that's where we are in this day and age, right? Most people don't
Mm-hmm.
even want to talk to their neighbors nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's something for maybe, I hate to say it like this, but other cultures sometimes stick together, maybe, because other
Well,
women
I'm
that I
answering
know that
for
are
you.
different definitely have a whole block,
Yeah. It
right?
is. It is exactly why we created Birth Ruckus,
Okay.
because we don't trust anything. We don't
Yeah.
trust ourselves,
Yes.
and we don't trust the people around us.
Mm-hmm.
Not around us like, community or whatever, but you trust your doctor without question. You trust the nurse that you don't know without question.
Yeah.
You
True.
trust You trust your kids to drop them off at daycare. You trust the people making your food for you,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
So if we just take, I get what you're saying, right?
Right.
The problem is when you are in community, you are not lacking. The individualism that we have been continued to eat and scarf down is never been us. We have always been communal as people. And because our surroundings may be in that space, it's
Right.
not that it's not possible, it just takes work. We are socialized to understand that we need to be individuals and we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Well, we never had boots, so where are we having the straps from, right?
Right.
The what you're saying as far as these communities that are together, go to one of their classes and tell me if they're together, right? How we move in these spaces, we have to create space,
Right.
right? And then when we go into these spaces, there's like this thing going around. It comes up on the internet all the time where folks are like, "Well, I can't have female friends," right?
Right. Exactly.
And listen, you can have your opinion about whoever,
Right.
but a lot of times our experiences dictate
Yes.
our futures, right? Our current right now plants seeds for our future. And if you don't understand what community really is to you,
Right.
then you will always be in less. That's what individualism is. That's why we get told a lot, well, Black people are lazy and we don't do this and we don't do that.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm here to tell you that as a mom to a 16-year-old kid, I have community and I would not be able to do it without them.
Yeah.
And those folks, to me, my principles, my values lie in community. Full stop.
Right.
And if you cannot be in community with me, we can't be cool like that. So we get to choose our community. So it's not about the neighbor down the street.
Right.
It's not about being white or Black. It is about making space for ourselves. We're a community right now. I haven't talked to you in 20 years, right? That doesn't make us less in community. You can call me and say, "Hey, Andrea, this came up. Oh, let me find out. I know somebody in Atlanta," because a lot of the work midwives are in Atlanta. So I have that connection. Isn't that community?
It is.
Right? And so it's like, it's hard. I get it because we're afraid, but it's there. It's right there. We just have to reach out for it and find it.
I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a negative Nancy, but
I get that question all the time.
I'm pretty much the same from high school. So building a community for me is not hard.
Yeah.
Most of my community is people I've known all my life, right? So just technically speaking, I really haven't had to really do a lot for 7 because I got a nice community, right? Clothes, diapers,
yeah.
food, time to
but
myself,
also rest and calm and like communication is like feeling connected to people.
But those are people that, like you said, I built that right prior to the baby. I do feel like the time is changing where women are being more comfortable with other women and having that comfortability to build that community. But there's also a very, very large percentage of women, like you said, that don't want that. Like, I don't want no friends, or I don't really need no community. I got my husband, or, I got my man type stuff, right?
And you know what? That's great.
It's great, but I think that's why a lot of women don't know about doulas, or, women like you that we can call and ask for advice, or we can call and need that support about different things that we aren't getting from hospitals, right?
Yeah. When I think about being a doula, I'm gonna be very real. Birth work is work, and a lot of times people don't value what we do until one of their friends die in childbirth. A lot of folks don't value what we do until somebody's had postpartum psychosis. Nobody values what we do until someone's had a loss and having to birth a stillborn baby. Nobody cares until someone's telling somebody at the hospital, "Hey, I feel like I can't breathe."
Right.
And no one's listening. Then it's, "Oh, Black women, Black doulas and all this." Okay, that's cool. Right. But why are we waiting until it's somebody we know?
Yeah.
Right? Like we're raising money right now for my nonprofit. My doulas came on my staff. I have a staff of 5 doulas that are amazing, we're supporting 10 families or something like that. We just had 2 babies. Um, and the barrier to the access to information and training and teaching and mentoring that I've been doing is free for me to give, right? I could charge $5,000 a head.
Right.
I know I can, right? But if I'm saying that people deserve the opportunity to have a doula, then I have to put it down somewhere for that to make sense.
Exactly.
Right? But the sacrifice that I have to do in that space is because nobody cares until it matters to them individually. Right? Exactly. If I said right now, hey y'all, between me and you, say we got 1,000 followers, and I said, hey, I just need I need $50 from everybody. Do you know we would not get nobody to donate to saving the lives of Black and brown women until one of us dies from it?
That's true.
Right? The way that we support is to get in the know. The reason why we don't have the information is because this work is labeled as white people shit. Sorry, excuse my language. Right? But let me tell you this. I came from a line of women that did this because we had no choice. The midwives in Atlanta that talk about the granny wives that taught white obstetricians this work. Right. It was stolen from us. Now it's being sold back to us. Right? Right. I've had people say, well, what about traditional birth? Talking about going to the hospital. No, this is traditional birth. Right. Right? But who's coming and knocking on my door and saying, hey, Andrea, let's get this together. Let's do these things. Right? And I'm not even saying, I feel like I was at a National Midwife Day. Okay. And one of the midwives said, our goal is to have for every block a midwife and every corner a doula. Right? That concept seems really smart. Like, oh yeah, no. That's pretty the good. Amount of access to care to doulas and midwives or any birth worker, pelvic floor therapist, chiropractors, massage therapists, all geared toward prenatal care, help save lives. And we are not doing that. Like I've been, and this is not a complaint because we're gonna do it anyway. Right, exactly. Yeah. Right? I'm gonna do this. We just finished our 10-week cohort. We just had 2 babies. Oh my God. All from our cohort. We got 6 more to go. And when I tell you, folks' lives are changing just by simply being empowered by information. I'm not telling no lies. You can go on the website of your hospital and find out. But if you don't know to look, then how you gonna know to ask? Exactly. So going back to why this work isn't where it is because it's by design. Because no one values birth work, like I said, until somebody dies. Or till a baby dies. Then it's let's help this space. Exactly. All right, cool. But let's do it prior. Let's work with organizations. There's Sister Web in San Francisco Bay Area. There's obviously Birth Ruckus. There's Kindred Space here in LA. Like, why are we not donating to these places that are doing the work for the community you just asked me about? Exactly. And everybody deserves an opportunity to thrive, not just survive. And that's why we're doing this. Full stop. 7. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, boo. Come here. You know babies don't care about nobody's agenda, okay? You know what? I don't even care. She's playing whatever she wants. Just have to make sure no one's talking. Just have to make sure no one's sharp over there. Listen, do what you want, sis. Because I'm tapped out. It's bedtime. Okay. I know that's right. But I'm glad you said that because I know early on, I forgot it was gonna get dark for me. Hold on. It's okay. Oh, hey y'all. I see some of my people in the audience. Hey y'all. Hey Kavina. Right. So one of my doulas is in here. I know that I'm glad you said that because I honestly did not even think about doulas and midwives until I seen this show on Instagram. I mean on Netflix. It was I think it's midwives, but it was like old school. It was like Catholic
it was nuns that would be doing all this work, going to, and I found out so much information. Like, I'm probably gonna say this wrong, but what was it? It was Clemsia or something like that. Like all
Preeclampsia.
these different. Yeah, I found out all this information that I'm like, why aren't the hospitals telling us about any of this stuff? Like when your legs are cramping up, all these different things. But then once I started to actually look into what doulas are and what they do and what they provide and midwives and all these different things, it really opens up your mind, because I feel like when you're pregnant, you do put so much pressure on your partner, your mom, whoever is right there,
Whoever's close,
right?
Proximity.
Whoever's close, and it's so much that your mind is going through and what you need and you don't need, and you're going through all these different feelings, that it creates so much. It creates so much, and then there's so much that just is unknown, right? And for me, that was a big thing, is because I know nothing, right? I'm a new mom. I'm trying to find all this information. I'm like, help me. You know, my mom is like, girl, you fine. And I mean, some of the time I was just coasting through, because it was like, whatever. The baby is going to be here. I feel fine. I look fine. Whatever. Like, the baby's healthy. But what would you say would be like home births versus hospital births for, I hate to always say Black women, but I know when I did a lot of research, I did a lot of research when I was pregnant on home births and hospital births for Black women, and I was very surprised by the numbers of Black women. So what would you say, home births, hospital births for Black women?
I think you have to define what your birth journey is going to be, what you really need to get through.
Okay.
And sometimes we don't know until we're there.
Okay.
I, of course, am like, let's do a home birth. But if you want to do a hospital birth, also, let's do a hospital birth. Mm-hmm. You can have the birth that you want at a hospital, too. Mm-hmm. You can also face some friction at a home birth, right? Yeah. And so I, for one, feel like it's not this or that. It's the right to choose it is more important to me.
I like that. Okay. That's actually really good. I never thought of it that way. Because I'm like, home births, y'all. That's what I wanted. Yeah. I wanted a home birth. I wasn't able to have a home birth at my age. 1 second.
Yeah.
Enough. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Y'all don't have to call 911, okay? Don't worry. It was just a little scissors. It's okay.
Listen, I see your eyes like.
Nobody calling people on me, guys. It's okay.
You good.
A little glue. Yeah. She'll be fine. But no, I would have definitely said that, because that was something I wanted. But at my age and things that happened, I wasn't able to have.
See, we have to be really careful. We have to be really careful about speaking in absolutes when we talk about pregnancy, birth, and postpartum.
Yes.
Because what works for me is not going to work for you. What worked for me when I was 20, when I had my son, ain't going to work for me at 36.
Girl.
Right? Each baby is different. Mm-hmm. Each pregnancy is different. Mm-hmm. Each labor is different. And so it's not so much of like, I feel like we have to be careful. And again, back to like language and how we're talking about our experiences, right? Uh-huh. A lot of folks, like, even if we think about pain, everybody wants to know about pain for childbirth, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm always asking, okay, where is it? Where is the pain? Right. How does it feel? Describe the pain. Right. Are there other words that come? Is it tight? Is it a stabbing pain? Right. Is it rolling? Is it pulling? Is it stretching? Right? Exactly. Because discomfort doesn't always equal pain. Exactly. Sometimes it's discomfort, and so we just need to make some adjustments so you can be comfortable, right? Exactly. And we add in everybody else's opinions or experiences and invite them into our birthing spaces, right? And I'm not one to say that folks shouldn't have any medical interactions. What I'm saying is understand that you do have a choice, and then managing the choices you have and not relying on just the unknown. because there is some part of being pregnant, having babies, going to labor, having them after, there is some unknown.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, we have to change as these things happen.
Exactly.
And as a doula, my job is to help you see through to the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and also give you, and again, bridge the gap in your understanding of what's what. Because you can write on every surface in your house, top to bottom, what you
Right.
think is going to happen, good or bad. And the one thing you didn't think of is going to pop up. So how do you really plan? We don't. We just wait on baby. We just
Right.
prepare our minds, we prepare our bodies,
Exactly.
we prepare our homes, we prepare our families. And we start creating boundaries around people that cannot support us in the way we need in that moment. And that does not make them a bad person.
Right.
It means that their capacity isn't there.
Exactly.
For that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're great at this, so go do that. But
Exactly.
you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us struggle with that because our relationships that we've had for a long time. Well, relationships aren't linear. We grow, we change, and evolve.
Right.
So my best friend in high school, we ain't funking, but she's not my best friend now.
Exactly.
If I call her, we're going to talk we're going to talk on the phone.
Exactly.
We still cool. I keep updated. We
Right.
see each other. We speak, right? But the evolution of your human experience is going to change. So if nothing changes,
Exactly.
or if you don't allow change, one thing pregnancy and labor going to do is make you change.
Oh.
And either it's going to drag you or you're going to go with it. And that's just really it.
Girl, it is going to change you. For sure, y'all.
Period. Yeah. Yeah.
I can show you that. Speaking to y'all live, it's going to change you. Okay?
It's going to change you. Even if you get right back to the body that you had before, you're going to look in the mirror and see somebody else. Every time. Every time.
That is one of my things I'm working on now. Okay? Not trying to go back to the person that I was before.
Well, you can't.
Right.
It ain't that. There's nothing to get back to.
My house is not my home no more. Okay? There's a stranger in my house. Okay? Y'all.
For real.
I know what she really meant in that song, okay?
Yeah.
But no, definitely.
You got a whole new roommate that don't pay rent, don't help you clean up, right? And as much as we love our children, as much as we love our children, we have to acknowledge that especially with Black women, we have to acknowledge all the societal pressures, not only from society at large, but our own communities. To show up in ways that we should not have to show up on our own. Exactly. We should not have to work 4 and 5 jobs to take care of a baby. We shouldn't, right? We shouldn't have to go back to work 4 weeks postpartum. No, we should not.
To me, you know what? And it's really crazy because when I was pregnant with 7, I was an entrepreneur, and a lot of people didn't know I had a full-time job, right? Mm-hmm. And it was great because I had insurance. You know, all those things.
Talk about it.
But
talk about it.
It was crazy because I could be like, let's just say something small. I could probably be like 10 minutes late because, mind you, that was me anyway. So I ain't even going to act like it wasn't.
Yeah.
But once I was pregnant, I could be like maybe 10, 15 minutes late because now in the parking lot, I didn't stop because I didn't have to take a breather. Or, something happened. And when I would get to my desk, there's like no compassion. Right? No compassion. No, just people are very inconsiderate, right? Because they don't know the difference. Now, maybe if I was 20, and maybe if I wasn't, because there might be some 20-year-olds to deal with the same thing, but I wasn't. Yeah. Right? I was 30 plus years old, having a child, and not healthy just because I looked good. I thought I was healthy, so I was out of shape, even though I was.
You better talk about it. Talk about it.
Even though I looked in shape, right? I was very unhealthy. I was very out of shape. I was, listen, so it was hard for me to get from A to B a lot. But not only that, I think I ended up taking off of work in like December, where I was like, man, forget this job. Like, I'm not about to keep showing up here. Got to walk here, walk there. It just became too much. But mind you, I wasn't supposed to take leave until January, February. And they actually called me like 30 days or like not even 30 days. I want to say it was like, I think it was 30 days. Because since I left early, I was actually supposed to be coming back
Mm-hmm.
in that month. And I had to ask her, you thought I was really about to come back in 30 days? I just had a baby. They wouldn't extend it. You know, here in Georgia, you don't get that anyway. So, you know, I know in California there's different laws. Like, I didn't get paid when I didn't get maternity leave when I was off. So the whole time I was off, there was no money coming in except for like they don't pay for a lot of things here in Georgia when you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, how could that even be possible in any state that when you have a child, you don't at least get, I would say at least 6 months. Really, I would say a year. But at least give me 6 months off and paid.
Because women are not valued.
We had a whole
Full
person.
stop. Doesn't matter. You are not valued. You are a liability when you get pregnant. Right? Like, think about like the state of this country right now. We're talking about the right to have birth control or not. Right now. Right? So if that's true, and then all the things that follow, right? The body autonomy, because that's what we're really talking about. Body autonomy, right? But if we talk about that and they're taking the choices from us, that means they don't value us in our opinions. Now add the other layers of our intersections of of who we are, Black women, or people that can just generally get pregnant and have babies, right? And then the intersections to our experiences. So access to care, full-time work, a living wage, a food desert, which may prevent you from even being healthy.
Exactly.
Healthy, right? The language we use to talk about health usually is about how we look and not what's going on internally. We talk in absolutes so much that we forget that there is a gray area. And a lot of us like talk about diet a lot because our focus is centered on our examples in whiteness.
Exactly.
When we talk about natural hair, people talk about natural hair so much, it's like mind-blowing to me. But when it really gets down to it, what do we really mean when we say natural hair? We're having to sign bills currently in 2023, 2022 to say Black women's hair in its current state is natural hair.
Natural hair.
You see what I'm saying? Like, who does that affect, really, right? So it's saying the quiet parts out loud. When we talk about women not having not only enough times, because let me tell you something, that first 6 to 8 weeks, you're only recovering. You have not healed. Nothing. Nothing has started to heal.
Nothing. Okay? Nothing. Girl.
Nothing. Now imagine having to go back to work in 4 weeks.
And I'm
because you have to.
That's crazy. Because women that I know personally that have literally went back to work, I'm like, y'all crazy. But
women did it before, those previous generations. They did do it before.
Yeah.
They had to. They had to. And a lot of us have to. Exactly. We don't have no choice.
You know,
now, if we start talking, go ahead.
COVID, they were giving, here in Georgia, they were giving people, stop 7. I want to say, I think they were giving them, if you had COVID, they gave you the 2 weeks paid. And then if you needed an additional other 2 weeks, you can still take. So basically, we're talking about a month off. And when I thought about it, I said, y'all just giving time away. And people had COVID. But people, after pregnancy, usually they won't even extend you for 2 weeks for you to go back to work. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's seen as a privilege to have a child.
It's like, wow. And for me, I'm like, it really had me start to really process and really think about things of how blessed I really am, because other women don't have the opportunity to be like,
absolutely not.
Right?
One of my clients at Birth Ruckus, she started a place, they fired her in 2 weeks once they found out she was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Right? You talking about, I wish we could grasp, like in this one conversation, how insidious our existence as Black women is just to exist. I wish we could. I wish I could say that the level of disregard for women, period, and then any other gender expansive person, the complete disregard, right? And then we might get lucky, right? We might play the game a little bit and we get lucky. And then when it counts, everybody turns their head.
Exactly.
Right? When we say, when you say your show, right? How many people have been like, oh my God, that was so helpful. Oh my God, that was so helpful what I learned, right? But it doesn't hit people for some reason until it's like the importance of what you're doing too.
Exactly.
Everybody's not going to have a mic at the podium, right? But that's the thing about community. Community isn't sameness. Community is providing an equitable space for everyone to contribute in the capacity that they can. And when Black folks have successfully done that, we have been burned alive, had our kids stolen, and you want to talk expand it to Black and brown people? I was just about to say that. Let's expand the conversation of Black and brown folks. Nobody's talking about where these babies are that have been sitting at the border. You know what this country is built on? Free labor. That's what this country is built on. Right. So then when you look at us, Black and brown doulas, we're not valued except to do work. Now, if they hire me and say, Andrea, come do this, they're going to expect me to do the work.
Right. No, you're going to be
but they'll pay me nothing to do it. When who else is doing this work? Because if you could, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm going to just talk my shit. If everybody could do it, then everybody would.
Right. But everybody can't do that.
Everybody can't do that.
Everybody can't do that.
Everybody can't be an accountant. Everybody can't be a lawyer. Everybody can't be a construction worker. Everybody can't be a carpenter, right? So why are we not expanding our focus? Imagine, just say if we had 10 people, me and you had 10 of our own people, right? And I said, hey girl, I got my 10 people. What's your 10 people doing?
Right.
Oh, well, we got this, and this, and this, and that. Oh, now my connection has expanded. It may not be as close knit, but I know that somebody has something. So if we had a lawyer, an accountant, a real estate agent, a nurse, a doctor, a doula, a midwife, right? A construction person that can do all the things, an electrician, a carpenter.
Right.
Okay, cool. But then when we're allowed to operate in that way, it stops by all the politics and policy around it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's this work is it feels very underground still.
Because it is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you are pregnant and every hospital is different.
Yeah, of course.
Right? They are. So I'm just speaking based off of the hospitals in different places that I actually, went to before I had the baby because I wanted to know where I wanted to have my child at. And even though, of course, in Georgia, everybody's pretty much Black, so I was blessed enough to have all nurses, doctors, and all that stuff, which was great. But they didn't offer, for Georgia to be mainly Black, medical world, I feel like things should have been offered to me just off rip because I'm Black and you Black, and they're not going to give it to me in this hospital, right? Because Black workers in there, the person that's running this is white, and I know it, right? So I'm like,
and so are the people training them.
You know what I mean? Why aren't you guys providing this information to us, right? Say, hey, you guys might want to talk to this, and this. That should be something that has to be done. And I feel like it's just, as a Black woman, and once you start to do your research and you really realize how many Black women give birth and die giving birth, how many Black women go through so much pain and so much that goes into this. And it's why are these things being talked about? Why aren't y'all promoting healthy food here at the hospital? Why aren't y'all promoting that we shouldn't be walking and on our feet for 8 hours a day? Why aren't you guys promoting these things and acting like, oh, it's fine. If you can work all day, work all day. No, you shouldn't. You should sit 4 hours or lay 4 hours, however you want to do. And you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
These things, I don't think think people really put it into their minds that as many people get shot a day, and I wish I could really remember the number, how high it is. That's how many Black women die from pregnancy. Like, so
Yeah.
I feel
We
like
ain't
when
even
she
talking
said that,
about
it's very high, right?
it's 4 times as likely as our white counterparts.
Yes.
Um and first of all, y'all, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
You know, say that again loud.
Just because a police officer is Black don't mean that system is not at the core of their work.
Exactly.
And when we talk about the medical field, we are talking about a system that has in medical documentation as of 2022 that Black women feel less pain.
What hospital is that? What'd you say?
No, that is taught in colleges as of 2022. Let me tell you a quick story. 2023, February, go to the hospital. My client's there. Her doctor convinced her to go to the hospital and get induced. She was due the same day. Okay? She gets there. The induction doesn't work. They immediately have to reverse it. Okay? The doctor gets there. Now, we're talking, the doctor gets there, checks her out. I'm telling, like, hey, okay, well, let's put the Foley balloon in, which also helps the cervix stretch, right? They put it in wrong. And I'm standing there and I'm like, okay. So the doctor comes back and she's like, oh, well, I don't think she's progressed. I said, well, they put the Foley balloon in wrong. No, that's not true. I said, call the doctor that was here first and he'll tell you that he did not insert both Foley balloons. Well, the Foley balloon, y'all, is a way that it manually ripens the cervix to start dilating and shortening. Holla at me in one of my childbirth education classes about that. But anyway, but one goes inside the cervix, one goes outside the cervix. It's like a little balloon that they fill up with water. And if you fill them both up over time, it's supposed to simulate the tension that a baby's head would have so that the cervix can soften. Well, if this is the cervix and this is the balloon, they didn't put the balloon in the cervix. They left it in her vagina. So they pulled it out and she was 4 centimeters. Mind you, the whole time prior, they were telling her she wasn't progressing. The doctor also told her that if you can't handle getting exams right now, how are you going to get this baby out? Mind you, the doctor never said a word to me directly. Only talked to the client, and my client was talking to me. I'm talking about did not acknowledge me at any point, right? Cool. I'm not worried about it. I've been here before, right? So, oh, you dilated. Now you're at 6 centimeters. And we're talking. I'm standing talking to my client. The doctor grabs the hook to break the water. So I look at my client and I go, oh, we're breaking your water? She goes, no. While she's doing this exam, right? The doctor's like, oh, well, that's just what we normally do. And then she asks me my name. Right? Okay, cool. So I look at my client. She's just excited that she made it to 6 centimeters on her own, right? So now the doctor's like, well, we want to do this. Now we want to do that. So now my client is really leaning into me, like, whatever. Right. This doctor, I want you to guess what you think this nationality of this woman was.
Asian.
White. So if that's going on with white women, if that's going on with white women, then if it's 4 times as likely than our white counterparts, and that happened in February 2023, you can full on believe that it's worse than that.
Oh, I know it is.
And I know it is. You're talking about somebody that paid for a private doctor.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like, that's a whole nother conversation, right? There is a level to money and wealth and affluence that a lot of us will never know.
Exactly.
And even in that space,
it's still the same. Money don't change the color. I hate to tell y'all this because a lot of y'all don't realize it. Money don't change the color of your skin. it just
Well, this
makes
woman was white, honey.
it,
This woman was stone
listen,
cold white, and this is happening to her. So if we know that, then we have to start putting value on not just money. We
right.
shouldn't. We really should
We
be
really
putting
should.
value on what money can be doing for us.
Exactly.
And we also have to have a conversation with ourselves about when enough is going to be enough.
Right.
When is it going to be enough? Right? And there's so many other causes. Maybe you don't care about maternal health per se,
Right.
but you care about the mental health of folks. Well, guess what covers mental health?
Yeah.
Postpartum care.
Yeah.
Prenatal disconnect is a real thing. Not feeling connected to the baby or their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't care about somebody giving birth, cool, but you care about people being healthy.
Yes.
Well, prenatal care, we need help.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, you want to be a massage therapist? Bet. We need massage therapists in this space.
Exactly.
You're a therapist? You're a PT? Well, we need pelvic floor therapists.
Because they don't even tell you that. Like, I found that out just because I was reading, like, you know, should I be getting massages and stretches during
Yes.
this time of pregnancy?
It's
They don't tell you that.
only in the U.S., boo. It's only in the U.S.
Like,
everywhere else loves a midwife and a doula. It's a standard care of practice.
yes.
It's not here because we live in the industrial complex of things, and the medical system is right in it. And there are some great doctors, there are some great nurses, but they are not everywhere.
They're not.
And a lot of the things that we need our doctors and nurses to do, even if they love us, they cannot, because if they cross this line, they can no longer serve.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's backing folks into a certain space. Now, I've seen doctors be juiced that somebody has a doula, because it's like, oh, great. Now I can like get into my doctor's bag and kind of work with your midwife and your doula so that we can come up with this glorious plan.
Exactly.
Versus me, I got to tote the line of losing my license all the time.
Exactly.
To support my community. And what does it really mean to me, right? What's the cost really to practice in that way? And I think we also have to consider that. Like, as much as I want to just blame doctors, we just really have to blame the systems in place that continue to perpetuate oppression.
Right. Now, give us, because I know they're so both of your brands. One is a nonprofit, which that's the main one you've been speaking about. Which is the birth. Say it for me again.
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you.
Sorry. Hey.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you. I was saying the difference between your two are both nonprofits.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. So Nurture and Flow is doula support for if you can afford the services. That's where I mentor from as well. I do a lot of my teaching there, so childbirth education, newborn 101, and then I've been doing a lot more of B2B, so like training in spaces that may be have not had great experiences working with Black and brown folks, so creating a space for folks to actually learn and not just say they took a DEI training. So that's another part of Nurture and Flow itself. It is kind of like all-encompassing, all things maternal health in general. Birth Ruckus is a nonprofit that provides Black and brown doulas for Black and brown birthing people. Okay. So we also provide that 10-week session where it's super robust. So I don't even do it for my Nurture and Flow clients unless they are paying for these services. Yeah. 10 weeks, we go through your rights. We go through the BRAINS framework, which is my favorite. What are the benefits? What are the risks? What are the alternatives? What does your intuition say? And what if you do nothing? That's for anything you have to make a decision about. Okay. We talk about the changes in your hair, skin, and nails. We talk about pre and postpartum mental health things that come up, right? We talk about postpartum care. We talk about boundaries. We talk about building your birth team. We talk about building your birth birth plan, your front running birth plan, your secondary birth plan, and your postpartum birth plan. We talk about comfort measures and how to work with your doula, and then they have one-on-ones with their doulas throughout after 5 weeks. They start having one-on-ones with their doulas, and then we're there through birth.
Now, is this something, because I know you were saying that you guys came up with this due to your own pregnancies and what you guys felt like was lacking. Was there any time in this process of both brands, did you feel like, is this really enough? Like, am I really, you get what I mean?
Yeah, so that's how Birth Ruckus came about. So my co-founder, Clarice, and I, we were like, damn, we want to do community something. We didn't know what, but we do a lot of community. Like if one of our kids is out of control, okay, go on up, let's go see your auntie. Or during COVID, during stay in place, that really solidified our community. And so taking care of each other and taking care of the kids, because some of us had to go back to work. And so like creating these bubbles so that everybody could have what they needed, and it just worked. So with Nurture and Flow, I love my clients. I'm grateful for them. Black women are always looking for me in that space, and I love that. And then I started noticing that although there were Black and brown women coming to me, there was still a demographic of Black and brown women that weren't finding me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? The folks that don't have the language to talk about what they need in this space. Right? The folks that may have a barrier to care or access or economic access to this work. Right?
Yes.
When I was like, oh, I need Black and brown women, it was Black and brown women that had access to information. Mm-hmm. They were looking for a doula. But if you don't know what a doula is,
right,
you haven't had that experience, or you think it's for white women only, then you don't even consider it. We have someone in our cohort that thought C-section was the only way you had babies. Truly.
Dang.
Right? That vaginal birth was for white people. And it is for everybody if you can, right? Doesn't mean C-section. Listen, babies are born, period.
Right.
So that's not what I'm teaching. What I'm teaching is making sure you have all the information before you make decisions.
Right.
And so for me, as working at Nurture and Flow, and then having some doulas come through and like be backups and mentor with me, I still was feeling like the community that I really wanted to serve wasn't finding me. And so that's where Birth Ruckus came in. So we were like, low to no cost doula support. We'll give you all this stuff plus a doula. Right. And then you also get community, which does not happen at Nurture.
I was going to say
it is more one-on-one, very much more like it's more one-on-one in that way. And some people need that, and that's okay. But for Birth Ruckus, I wanted to do two things: make sure the doulas also had community and the families did too, because you do need backup. And a lot of us get burnt out so early in our birth careers that we never go back. But we need each other. And so, that's the difference. So the work is the same, but our work here is very specific for Black and brown birthing people and their families, and then to support doulas. So it's twofold.
I think that is beautiful. And I just want to say, and I'm not, just saying it because you're a friend of mine, and, and we know each other, but, we appreciate women like you and what you're doing in your community, both of your brands or all your brands, and you in itself, because it takes I know you said you're not a nurse, you're right, but you are surpassed a nurse, because nurses, they usually do certain things. They come in there and they just got one job. Not all nurses, so I'm not
all nurses,
but it's a little bit different, because when you are pregnant and you're going through that process, after, before, mid, I'm a year out, and I still have my issues from time to time. And I've literally had people tell me, you had your baby a year ago. You don't have postpartum anymore, right?
Girl,
I literally had somebody that I was dating tell me he thought I was lying about postpartum, and at that time my baby wasn't even born yet. Like, and it's like people don't understand that. So it's nice to have a separate community of what you offer, able to give you that assurance that What you're
Yeah.
feeling is okay. What you're going
Yes.
through is not going to be for forever.
Nope.
And if it is, we're going to be right here with you because not everybody's
Yes.
time is different.
Yes.
And as a Black woman, you need that. You
We
know, I'm
need it.
I'm sorry. I
We
don't
need
mean to
it.
get emotional, but as Black
We
women,
need it.
you need it. And I have
We need it.
a solid friend group and a very big support team.
Yeah.
But what about the women that don't have that?
That do
Right? The women
not.
that don't have that, the women that are trying to find or can't afford it, right? That really, really don't understand that you need a village
You
when you
do.
are pregnant
You
and when
do.
after pregnancy. So I appreciate you for just doing what you are doing because it's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. And I
Yeah.
respect you so much because so much
Thank
time
you.
and energy and love and compassion and dedication. Girl, you got my
Yeah.
eyes running.
Yeah.
And everything goes in that. And not
Yeah.
everyone can do that. So I feel so blessed
Yeah.
and honored to know you. And I know a version of you because I don't know you. You
Yeah.
as a woman,
I'm still
but
loud
you
and
were
proud, honey.
right. I was gonna say you were bright and beautiful, and so we have like the same energy. You were a little bit more quiet. I was just a little
Yeah.
bit more crazier, but you've always been that person, you know. So even
Yeah.
though I know a version of you, the version that I do know was beautiful, and I can see why you would pick this as your future. You know what I mean? So
I
love it.
wish I picked it. It definitely chose me.
It shows.
I tried
Listen,
not to for a very long time.
yes,
Really, truly. And I want to say thank you because this is thankless work. And,
yes,
and like I said earlier, like, you know, I could spend all my time at Nurture and Flow
yeah,
and get my bills paid,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I could be working another job and then doing this work
Right.
and not paying attention to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are some serious sacrifices that we are making right now
You guys
to make this
are.
happen. And when I tell you, I have been blessed with folks that just trust that we're doing the right thing. And that is a space that I will forever honor. And we just had our last cohort last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just to be grateful
Mm-hmm.
that folks would trust us to support them in this most vulnerable space feels bigger. It doesn't even feel like it belongs to me.
Yes.
And I think when we start aligning with purpose,
Yes.
truly,
Truly.
then we can't worry about the trivial things
No.
that don't matter.
Exactly.
And I want to welcome folks or like ask people to really think about. So birth touches everybody. I do not care how you identify,
Nope.
what your lifestyle's like. Birth touches everybody. If
Exactly.
nothing else, you were born.
Exactly.
And somebody had to help you be birthed in this world.
Exactly.
And so to honor and respect this most sacred space, and in this birth space, death is at the same time.
It's at the
And
same
those are
time.
the only two things that are certain in our lives is
Exactly.
life and death,
Mm-hmm.
full stop. And to continue to have these conversations in the margins about this life-changing event
Mm-hmm.
is only going to up that number of women dying.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And I think for us, or at least for me, so I'll speak for me now,
Oh my gosh. Stop it.
I think it's hard. It's been hard to keep going.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard to, you know, like I said, I got a 16-year-old. He's getting ready to go to college in 2 years or whatever he decides, right?
Right.
And I have, you know, bills to pay and all this other type of stuff. And I get so frustrated because it's like, damn, y'all, like if I was throwing a party, I would have so many people buying tickets, right?
Exactly.
Just go buy a ticket to the event that I'm putting on so that we can celebrate these people because I want to celebrate with us. Because if we don't celebrate us, who gonna celebrate us? Right? I want to create that space because everything's not about kicking it. And I love to kick it. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I love to kick it. And this is still important.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing that is burning for me is how do we make these conversations important, but not just be having a conversation, not just put on a show. How can I get you active? How can I get you to understand? And people are like, well, how can I support? Money, right? But also come learn.
Yeah.
Tell somebody that it's possible to go into their labor and birth and pregnancy and not be terrified, to not be at the whim of whatever, right?
Exactly. You know, that is, I feel like in our, like, just the community in general, and I'm girl, she acting real discolor right now.
It's because you're not paying attention to her. That's what they do.
Like, she acting real crazy right now, okay? But right, girl, that's why I had to stop for a second. I was like, did she really just do what I thought she did? Oh my God.
It's yeah.
You still, I see what you're doing right here because I'm alive, but it's okay. But honestly, just speaking, I know for myself, I recently just started Perfection is Canceled, right? Also being very transparent with what is going on with me, right? And I think a lot with our community is we have to be transparent for people to even offer this kind of service.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm the person that looks or acts as if, and I won't even say act as if, but I can put on a face and everybody looking like, yes, she got it. She got it together to do, right? But that's what we think we have to look like, especially as new mothers. We have to feel like we have to put a face on. And I'm here to tell you, we don't.
We don't.
I don't got it all together.
I don't got it all together.
Okay?
I'm just good at this. Remember, we talked about capacity earlier, right? Like, my capacity is this.
Exactly.
I'm great at this. Exactly. That does not mean I'm great at everything else. Like, literally, a couple of days ago, I just broke down in my car, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Right. Exactly.
Like, it's kind of like, you know, I'm trying to juggle so many things, and I have a passion and a heart for this, and it's never gonna go away. But because of the society we live in, we have to play the game, and playing the game breaks my heart. To have to pretend like I want to be at this place that does nothing for my people, nothing for my community, but build someone else's, you know, dream or whatever, and it's not even one that I'm even aligned with. But I gotta get this check.
Yes.
And that breaks my heart.
That is a hard decision to make because even like right now, I'm fully entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right? New baby, bought a condo, car note, insurance. Like, I got real bills, right?
Yeah.
And it's a hard decision to make. Do I go back to a 9-to-5? Because technically, everything that I've done is not my purpose.
It's
right. It don't even align with what I'm doing in life.
Soul sucking. Soul sucking.
It's like, well, damn, but I know if I do that, I'll have insurance, right? And I'll have consistent money coming in, right? But then my mind's like, nah, you ain't gonna make it. You're gonna end up cussing somebody out.
For real.
Because
and
I do that. You know, you have to have balance in your life. But you also have to have a strong relationship. And I won't even use strong because my relationship with God be a little iffy. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd be a little, you know. But you have to have a strong self-value of what you want for yourself and where you know you're going. Because if not, you'll be at that 9-to-5 like most of our parents until they're 65.
Yeah. And be miserable. Be miserable.
Right?
And then you come home and be miserable. And then everything around you is miserable. Or that's what you do. And then at home, you just get so, it's kind of like it's like being a sheltered kid.
Exactly.
Right? You get a little freedom and you lose it.
Yeah.
I think like in this, like talking about transparency, y'all, like people be talking about being entrepreneurs. This shit is hard.
It's not for the weak.
Girl, I had to give up both of my cars.
Girl.
I had to downsize a whole bunch of stuff.
But girl,
listen, like this is not yet, like you said, this might look together, but this is not easy. Like I'm such a like everything needs to have a place, everything, you know, I'm about having these spaces of consistency, and this does not do that. And then add trying to do a nonprofit. if I'm not, like, I gotta be out kissing babies, being on social media, doing all this other type of stuff, which I don't even like to do. I love to do interviews. I love to talk to people. I love to teach. But social media isn't me. I don't move like that. And so having to acclimate and learn this new way to communicate with people takes a lot of energy from me, although I love what I'm doing.
It takes a lot of energy for all of us, our older folks. Okay. Just being
right. And then I got responsibilities.
I'm still trying to find my, what is it, my algorithm or rhythm or whatever.
Listen,
like, this is not,
girl, ain't no finding it.
Girl.
Ain't no finding it.
It's, you know, so just something that small that our community will look up that and find information on how to, what's your rhythm, but won't look for somebody like you, right? Won't look for that help because we're so scared for someone to find out what we're really going through and what we really need help with, right? So that was like, I'm fasting right now, and that was one of my main things, that I will no longer be a prisoner to things that are going on in my life. Like, I can't continue to keep on harboring that I got shit going on and I ain't in the right mindset, that I don't want to talk to nobody, that I don't want to go outside tonight, that I don't feel like being a mom on today, right? It's okay for me to say those things and be okay with it. And we have to learn that, and we have to have the transparency. And I think that's why a lot of women don't look for that information, because they're scared. They're scared. They're still finding themselves. They're still trying to figure out all these different things.
Design.
So I definitely will be, like you said, I want to learn more for myself and for, you know, other women. But I also definitely want to make sure that this will be my business, you know, because when you have a business, you can pick up where you want to donate to and all those things. But I definitely want to do that. And, you know, I don't be knowing all the words of the terminologies that people be using, but you know what I was talking about.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
Where it goes to the donate, okay?
Right. Right.
But we are,
because we gotta like, it takes a lot to run a business.
Yes.
But add passion to a business,
girl.
Like you mess around and lose sleep, because it's like, how can I do the things? And my doulas are amazing. Shout out to Gavina, to Opal, to Marion, to Ayana, to Clarice. Like, they are locked in and said, Drea, we'll do it. And I'm like, I gotta make sure I pay y'all.
Yeah.
I don't have to get paid. Let me get y'all paid.
Yes.
And to do that is becoming this, like you said, like asking for help now is like, even me, I'm like, listen, y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to donate.
Right.
Okay? I need y'all to come to this event. I need y'all to show up. Please.
You know you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to throw something on the gram or on Facebook, like, y'all, please. You know, I gotta be something drastic just for somebody to even look.
Right. I gotta tell you somebody close to me died. I gotta tell you somebody died.
On a TikTok dance, about to break my back.
Don't
just for y'all to look at it.
Just trust me.
Yes.
Come see. That's all I'm saying. Come see. And if nothing else, tell somebody.
Yes.
We are really, birth workers, doulas, midwives are saving folks' lives, y'all.
We are.
For real. And y'all, we gotta stop worrying about defining our successes by our white counterparts, because that's never gonna be us. It's not for us.
It's not for us. No.
It's never gonna be.
Yes.
And even when they give us a little bit, they take it back. Like, it's just like, it's not, and that's not like a white versus black people thing. That is a societal issue that we cannot solve. And when a house is deteriorating, you can only patch the walls up so much. And
exactly.
And that's what we're in now. We're talking about bad foundation, bad structure, bad electricity now. The pipes are bursting. And we all sitting in the same house that's coming down around us. And just because you put wallpaper up and it looks pretty doesn't mean it's functioning. It doesn't mean that it's working.
Exactly.
And I wanted to just, man, I wish I could explain how important work like this and other people's work is so important. Like I mentioned 3 other organizations that are doing this work.
Yes.
And still having to beg people to come through. You know, I'm this nonprofit,
right,
it was gonna happen, period.
Right.
It was gonna happen anyway, right? Because that is that divine alignment, right? That was gonna happen. But on the back end, like for real, I'm tired.
Yes. I'm sure
like,
you are.
What are we doing? So I'm asking for whatever, right? And it's like, well, and it's like, okay, you know, and I'm not faulting anybody that can't do.
Right.
It's not about that, but do what you can.
Right.
And if you can learn something and tell someone else and let them know that they don't have to, all the things that you just said, like community and having those things that make us emotional. It makes me emotional to know that, you know, people care because it doesn't feel like it, right? I know my clients know that I care and they care, right? But they found me.
Exactly.
What about the rest of us that don't know? What about the rest of us that experience their partners, sisters, cousins experiencing postpartum depression in silence? What about them?
And that's a big, you know, that is a big thing. I recently just told, and you know, I try to be like I said, with this fasting, I'm getting a lot better to be open and honest with my friends and my people that are close to me. And I think
Good for you.
Birthday. And I think you know Boots. Do you remember Boots from high school, Jermaine? Yes. So Jermaine lives out here. That's how I got to Georgia. And
really? I think he go for the military or something like that.
He went to the military. He was in the Navy. He's out now. He's doing so. I mean, he's doing so good. He's oh my God.
Always just the kindest heart. Always.
He's always the sweetest.
I haven't talked to him in forever, but that's what I remember most about him.
Girl, yes, he is here, and I had to tell him. He's like, well, because he will always ask me, "What do you need?" You know, or I don't want to bother you, and I had to tell him like, Jermaine, I go through so much of a depression, and I don't even know why sometimes that I wake up like this. And you know, most people that know me know I'm this energetic person, and I don't even know why sometimes I'm not in a good mood. Right? I'm like, you just show up. Just show up to my house.
Because your presence is a gift.
Exactly. I'm like,
your
just
presence
bother
is a
me,
gift.
call me, tell me you pulling up. Like, just do that. Because when after you have a baby or during pregnancy, like, literally.
You feel isolated.
You feel isolated, right? Because most times people ain't going to invite me out because their excuses. I'm like, hey, why you didn't invite me? Oh, because you got the baby. I got a nanny, man. Like, you know, if I'm available, we're going to figure it out. Somebody is going to be available. Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
So I say that because we have to be able to say what we need from people. Because if we don't, we won't get the help. Like, we won't get that. We won't get that.
And it's and it's for those of us that know how to articulate it to say it loudly.
Exactly.
So that someone else knows that they too have a voice in this. Whatever that is, they too have that opportunity. I'm gonna move my little camera. It's getting dark over here. But
exactly.
And I think it's hard because if we don't have the words, the way to express these feelings, we can't ask for what we need because we don't know what we need. And we don't know what we need because we're not talking about needs.
Hard. That is really hard. It is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just speaking because it's something that I'm going through, like right at this, like in this moment.
Talk to me.
I mean, even like dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
I dated, and you know, I've had some spaz outs where I'm like, I don't know why I snapped on that. Like, I don't know what I have no idea, you know. And then I talked to my therapist, and she's like, "Yo, you was already having a bad day, and you try to act like you wasn't having a bad day, and you start drinking, and then that bad day starts coming up again. Like, you know, she's breaking it down,
and then you anxiety spiral with drinking.
And then it's so much because people don't understand. She did just have a baby. She's also a single mom, full-on single mom, no payments involved, so all bills are on me, right?
Yeah.
Which is a new thing for me.
Okay.
right? Then you got to think about what it looks like to other people that you're just this amazing woman and got all this shit going on. But how are you a single mom? That's crazy. Like all this shit that goes on in your mind or that you're going through as a mom, and then all these other things that are piled on,
Mm-hmm.
it is a lot. So I would say to women, again, stop feeling as if you have to have it together. We don't have to have it together. It is hard to ask for help.
Yes.
But the longer you wait and the longer you hold that shit in, you're dying inside.
It's
And
gonna
you know
come
how
up.
bad it
You
is
can't
to
hide it.
have all that
It's
poison inside?
yes.
When it comes out, it's literally like you're spitting fire and poison on other people that actually care and love about you because you held all this stuff in,
Yep.
right? So this is something I'm learning,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm now growing to realize it's okay for me to actually have free time away from my daughter.
Yep.
It's okay for me actually to tell people like,
It's a necessity that you do. Let's be clear. It's not just okay.
yes.
You need it.
But also you have to think about how many other women look down upon you as a new mom that you are outside.
You
Like, oh, I
know
can rap,
why?
right?
You know why? Because they mad. They can't go
How much
either.
I get? Do you know how much bad rep I get when women see me outside or they ask where my baby is, and I'm like, oh, my mom got her. She in Vegas. I don't know. Like she with her grandma. They be like, oh my God, I could never do that. I would never. And then I'm
that's you,
like,
boo.
oh, maybe I should.
That's not me.
Listen, I'm thinking like maybe I'm disconnected from my baby or something.
No.
No. But
You're a
once
person
again, it's the
first.
mind, right?
Yeah.
It's the mind, it's society, and I'm pretty
Yep.
sure other women have felt this way, and that's why your services are so important, because when these things do happen to us, we're able to check back in with y'all. Like I'm able to hit you up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm having, and then you're able to reflect on us like, girl, I don't know who was saying that to you, but like,
because everybody's journey is so different.
Yeah.
Everybody experienced motherhood differently.
Yes.
And once you get used to it, they change, so you got to change with them.
Right.
Like it's never anything just so set in stone and so rigid like we think it is.
Right, exactly.
And the suffering through it, there's no award for suffering, y'all. Mm-hmm. There's not. It affects the way you bond with your baby. Yes. It affects the way you bond with your partner after baby. Partners also go through it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know we don't talk about that, y'all.
Just to let y'all know. I don't know nothing.
But our partners go through it, right? The folks that are supporting us through this space, because they're seeing you struggle, right? And then they try to take on, partners that are involved, try to take on everything. You can't.
Ooh,
you cannot.
Yes.
And as you're changing and as you're growing, like you said, it is a balance of all the things. And I'm never going to tell you not to be curious. I'm going to always tell you to be curious about your journey, because try it out. Mm-hmm. Keep trying, keep pushing the limits, reach out. And this is why, when you find there are women building community around this, go find them, y'all. Yeah. I'm telling you, they're right there. Go find them. You feel crazy because you got a house with the baby and you feel crazy? Go online, find a support group. Yeah. If you don't do nothing else, go do that for yourself. A lot of those groups, they don't ask you to turn your camera on, nothing. Sometimes you can just sit back in the room. Mm-hmm. You need to hear that you are not alone in this space. Google is free. Right. Go find your people. Yes. Go find them. And I know it's hard.
It is very
I'm not saying that. But go do it because you deserve that.
Yes.
You deserve to feel like you have community, like you have people that actually care about this space that's uncertain.
Yes.
I spent most of my motherhood feeling like I was a bad mom. Most of it.
Yeah.
Most of it. And I'm talking about to the point where I was overexerting myself. Yeah. And it got to the point where I had to be honest. And I'm like, you know what? I don't owe nobody else shit.
You don't.
I have done everything I'm supposed to do and everything in my capacity.
Right.
And if that makes me a bad mom, then I'll take that. but I'm still going to do what I need to do. I'm not no housewife. It ain't never going to be me.
Right.
That's just not who I am. There are some, my sister, I envy her. She is so good at that. Like my mind doesn't work that way.
Right.
It doesn't make me less of a mom. It doesn't make me less of a partner or a nurturer or all this, because I am that.
Right.
But my purpose is not that.
Yeah.
My purpose is to be doing this.
Exactly.
And that means bucking trends and understandings of what this is. Yes. I'm also in this amazing space to know amazing people like you that say, hey, Andrea, come talk. Let's hear what you have to say, right? Because you didn't have to.
Girl.
You didn't have to.
Really, I wanted to have a one-on-one with you by myself. Girl. But then I said, I said, girl, I think when I saw it, I was like, I think I called my best friend and she was like, yeah, I think I knew that already. I'm like, why wouldn't you say nothing to me? Like, she was like, well, I mean, we all went to school together. You don't follow our best friend to see it? I'm like, well, damn. Like, you know, because I'm like, I want the services for myself because it's really hard to find. And don't get me wrong. Once again, I have a huge community, family and friends. Yeah. Right? But talking to someone, like someone said, just like doctors and therapists, like they have other people that they go to and they, you know,
they have to.
As an entrepreneur, as a new mother, as, you know, trying to figure out stuff, now I'm knowing like, okay, I got to find me a good mentor, right? I also, like you said, I need to find some, glad I know what you do now, because it would be nice to talk to you to tell, like, somebody that can actually tell me, hey, you know, you fine, girl. Like, da-da-da-da-da. This is what postpartum is. This is what
you're not fine, and this is postpartum, and this is what we need to do to get you to fine.
You know what I mean? To say this, and this. So that's also, as humans, not just women, we have to find ways to literally get things out, because if not, they become toxic, right? It's just that simple. You have to get these things out, because people don't understand why you're having strokes at 25, 30, right? You have to be careful. Like, why at a young age, right? Those are young ages for things to happen. And
that's crazy.
It's because I've had my doctor say, hey, Ebon, you know, when your face is twitching and stuff like that, and you're telling me your face got stuck like that, that's kind of telling you, like, you might be going to have a stroke soon. So just because you don't want to talk to the therapist, and it seems like you're not really saying anything to her, you're just wasting time. If you don't tell somebody, literally, I'm like, I thought y'all didn't talk to each other. That's a breach of conduct, right? No. You know, but I'm just talking this. But you know, you have to be able to get those things out. And once I was able to speak to my therapist and really talk to her and really create a bond with my therapist outside of my best friend being my therapist, y'all. I'm talking about a real therapist, not my best friend.
Yeah.
But to get those things out to and really say, but she also doesn't tell me things like did I say about motherhood? She just is like, oh, okay. Like, I'm like, okay, now I need to know, I need to go ahead and book a session with you. And hopefully I get a discount, because I just told you I don't really got no money. Right? Now I need to book a session with you, because I need that. The service, therapist is therapist. I need you know what I'm saying?
You need all the things.
I need all the things. I need the mentor. I need all the
everything
things.
You just said is every Black woman's experience, pregnant or not.
That's true.
Right?
That is so true.
And I'm not invalidating you, but I'm saying, like, if we just thought about it in that and said, okay, for every issue that we have, and we're not just talking about it. We're empowering one another. We're bringing light to these situations. We're sharing a good word. You're coming and saying, hey, Andrea, I need some support here. Okay, what you need?
Exactly.
Whatever that looks like support's going to look different for everybody. And I want us to remember that community, we get to choose our people. We get to choose them. And they get to choose us. And sometimes folks find us. You can shove all that stuff down if you want to. It's going to come up.
Exactly.
It's going to come up. It's going to come up in ways. It's happened to me so many times in my life
No, y'all.
because
I'm
it's
tired.
just, girl, listen, I literally said, I don't want to get dragged no more. I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to be
Yes.
doing when I'm supposed to be doing
Exactly.
it, and I'm not waiting.
And I'm not waiting.
I'm not waiting. And just, hope and a prayer.
Yeah.
Listen, hope and a
Yeah.
prayer. I'm talking about shoestring budget. I'm tape, band-aids, however we can get it done, we're going to get it done.
Girl.
But it'd be nice not to. It'd be nice
Listen.
not to.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
here for it. And like I said, I'm very grateful. Because even you just hopping on the live, because I know our times have missed and our schedules have been a
It's
little off.
okay.
I appreciate that because listen,
You got a
usually the
whole
Ebon show,
baby
I'm
and
like,
you
I
got a
need
whole
hair,
life.
makeup, outfit,
Girl,
all these different things. And I'm in the process of getting a studio and being able to actually record like I was the first time I
oh
interviewed. Like,
yeah.
you
Okay,
know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay.
It was
Yeah.
somebody actually producing it and they were on YouTube. So now it's like, oh, I'll just wait. I'll wait until everything gets right. And then
Don't
finally
wait.
I said, well, I did say I was fasting and now I'm continuing to do something, wait on something that I don't have to wait
You
for.
do not.
Right? I don't wait for that, right? So it's like, well,
It
no, I
doesn't
don't
have
want to
to
put
be that.
exactly. So I'm like, it's those little things
Yeah.
that create habits and where you're trying to really go in life, right? To
Yeah.
say, I don't need to be perfect. I'm going
You
on live.
don't. Who
Nanny ain't here to
cares?
watch the baby, right? So I
Who
still got to go
cares?
live. She up, right? This is my life, y'all, right? I'm like, couldn't find no
Yeah.
lash glue. I ain't got no lashes on. Forget it. I
Girl.
ain't putting no makeup on tonight. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
being comfortable in my own skin, even
Mm-hmm.
before pregnancy. So I can't blame it all on pregnancy. But even before I was pregnant, I was uncomfortable in my own skin. And I was so worldly thinking that I thought I had to look a certain way and be a certain way and look a certain, like all these different things. So now after pregnancy, I still didn't like my body because now I'm not slim thick. I'm just slim. I don't have the booty no more. I done lost all this weight. But within this fasting, I love my body because even if I did have stretch marks, it would be fine, but I don't got no stretch marks. My body is still very much so intact. My skin is intact. I don't need to be putting on makeup. Like, I wish that I can give this to every pregnant woman because I
Mm-hmm.
think I might mess her name up. Ariana Grande made a post
Mm-hmm.
today of how comfortable people are of talking about people's bodies and
It is so
commenting on people's
inappropriate.
bodies. It's so inappropriate. And mind you, I've been talking about this for a minute that I was going to put a live out because people are so comfortable. Like, I'm just after having a baby, I'll be out somewhere and people be like, damn, you lost all your weight. Most people get fat after pregnancy, but you lost your weight. Girl, you need to get your booty back. Or what happened to your booty? Or what? Girl, you look real skinny. Are you eating? Like,
Shut up.
girl, I swear to God. And it's like, why do you feel comfortable with saying that? Or, damn, you really do look good, but you need to get your weight up. Like, it bothered me so bad that I really was like, oh my God, I need to gain
The
weight.
amount,
You know,
the amount
girl,
of that I work with clients with, it's everybody. It's not just you. It's
right?
everybody. I almost never comment on
Girl.
someone's body. Never. Especially publicly.
Especially
If I
publicly.
think now I watch
Right?
I look at pregnant women all the
Right.
time. I generally know when someone's pregnant.
Exactly.
But I'm not gonna say a
I'm
thing.
not
Because for
saying
what? You didn't
no.
ask me. Also, touching pregnant women. Stop
Yeah.
doing that.
Stop touching pregnant. Don't touch me at all.
You don't
Pregnant
like,
or not pregnant.
what is that? That's weird. What
it,
is wrong
it
with
is very
y'all?
much
Like
so weird.
it's these nuances, right? But if we go back to that conversation that I started to have and I will not have on this podcast
Right.
on this live,
Right.
it's the idea of body autonomy.
Yes.
You matter as long as you can produce.
Right.
And once you stop producing, now you no longer matter. And while you're producing, you belong to everybody.
Exactly.
No.
People are the nicest people when you're pregnant. Like, they're so, oh my God, after you had that baby, I'm like, man,
Bye.
you don't see me coming in with the stroller, with the bag, with the groceries, with the key, like, but had I just been pregnant coming, they were like, oh, Like, you know,
Mhm.
that's why I say you have to make sure you take care of your mental health and your mind, because the world will have you either pissed off, suicidal,
Yeah.
like starving yourself. Like, there's so many things. And that's why I really want to make sure, for sure, pregnant women, because it's so hard to tell yourself
Hmm.
that you will never be the person that you were before your
That's
baby. And I think a
so
lot of us
hard.
try to reach. Girl, I was reaching.
Sorry, baby.
Listen,
I'm sorry. It's
reaching,
not gonna happen.
and it's not gonna happen,
It's
right?
not. You are
It's,
forever changed. And that changes each baby, each pregnancy, each labor.
one and done. Dog
You're
mom for
gonna
life.
change every single time.
Listen, dog mom for life after this, y'all.
You good? Fair.
And I love my
Fair.
baby.
Of
I'm not saying that at all. My
course.
baby is beautiful. She is great. Like, we have fun. It's like this is like the best friend living. Like, we talk, we laugh, like she's so cool. Like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's one of those
She's
things.
also
If
still a
I
baby.
have another child, the great part is I'll be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be more knowledgeable, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I also I want to have a partner, right? Because not saying that I need a partner,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be married. And I think sometimes people don't say what they really want. They kind of just tiptoe like, oh, I could be married, or maybe, or this or that. And it's not really for the child. Like, I personally want to be married.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I actually am reaching some more of my goals before I
Yeah.
have another baby.
So here's the thing, right? Marriage is great, but it's different for everybody.
Very much.
And so defining what that's gonna look like and what you're going to need is like up there. Then there's this other piece. Everybody wants to have a great love experience, but nobody wants to be a great love.
Mm.
And in order to have that, there's a lot of self-reflection that needs to happen, right? And I get wanting to get married because I too want a life partner, right?
Right.
But does that mean that I'm having to sacrifice some of the fundamental things about me to do that, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that as a single person. I am not single. I'm very happy in my relationship.
We missed that part, y'all. I didn't get.
Oh, girl,
We
listen.
didn't get
I've
in
been
your
soft watching
business.
him for I don't know about a year, girl. Please. He was on here earlier, all kinds of stuff, girl. You'll catch a
Look,
glimpse of
now
me
I'm
somewhere.
about to go here and look and
You
see who I
can't.
saw pop up
It
on
ain't
here.
gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I told you, social media ain't my place. Catch me outside. Then you like, oh, hey, girlfriend. But I'm saying that because I think, okay, like the example I gave you earlier, right? Like, oh, it hurts, Andrea. I'm feeling pain.
Right.
What are you really feeling?
Exactly.
And so when we think about marriage, I implore, especially us women, to really think about what we really want. And again, if we are not having out loud conversations about this, we don't know what to ask, what to expect. A lot of us are so, and me included, right? I have not been grown all my life. You know what I mean? We have made lifelong decisions with temporary people for so long that we are looking to bridge the gap in what was left over from that person instead of becoming anew, because guess what? You'll never be the same.
You'll never be
Every person that you're with, you'll never be the same.
It's
and accepting that, yes, accepting that means that you also are open to something different. Now, I love a little drama. I'm a little brat.
Right.
Okay. I like things to go my way.
Right.
But I can't have a partner that matches my energy. It's not going to work. We will be fighting on somebody's front lawn. So now, in my past, not being attracted to that type of person, right? Like, oh, but loving this. But what is it about me that's attracting that?
Exactly.
And not to say that I'm taking the blame for bad behavior. I'm just saying, if we can take a step back and just
Right.
be, like you said, the importance of transparency is
Yes.
so real. You don't have to be mean to
No.
be transparent.
Don't.
You don't have to be, you're not weak for
Nope.
sharing and checking in with your partner. Like, I think if we exchange marriage for partnership,
Yes.
more often in conversations with folks, it would start different conversations. Because now when you go on the internet, it's this men against women thing.
Yes.
And you can think whatever you want to think, right?
Yes.
I'm a big Black feminist.
Yes.
I also understand that we have to have a balance in things.
Exactly.
Right? We have to know who we are, because like I said, I'm never going to be a housewife. Ever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs that.
Right.
But I'm not the person for them.
For you. Correct.
And you could be great. You could be amazing. You could be all of that. But it's not for me.
Exactly.
I can't have somebody that can't handle someone that's as extroverted as me. It's never going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You could love me down. We're going to get a,
right.
we're going to have a rift. It's not going to work.
You really, like, I am literally going through a process of relearning things about myself, loving myself, just really getting into a season that I forgot who I was and how dope I am and what I really do have to offer.
Super fun. You're super dope.
You know, because it really, I think a lot of people don't know it having to stop everything I was doing during pregnancy, work, social life. It was a lot for me.
It's crazy town. It feels like crazy town.
To that, and I wasn't in a bay either.
Yeah.
So I know you know, friends coming over every day.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, my mom was out here for like 3 months. You know, my sister was here. I had Jermaine. I had my homegirl Vanessa. I had Marissa. I had Alana now lives here. I don't know if you remember her.
Really?
Yeah. So
did she get married a couple years ago?
She did.
Oh,
and her and her husband live here now.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
You know, it's really great to have those people, but when you're going through certain things, it's hard to open up about them.
Yeah.
So now the process moving fast forward to now stepping back into, I've forgotten who I am. And
let me tell you something.
And how
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna impart some wisdom on you.
Please, girl, I need it.
Is you gonna break your own heart first.
Yes.
Right? And that's okay. That's okay.
Yes.
Right? And then you'll start to piece some stuff together.
Yes.
And once you find a plateau, doesn't mean things won't change, right? But you've gotten so used to, I need to consider something different. Like approaching things with curiosity. My therapist says, Andrea, come sit with me in the gray. What if it's not this or that? Right. Maybe it's right here. Yeah. And the uncomfortability for me a lot of the time is I'm very much this or that. But the most joy that I have experienced was when I stopped doing that to myself. Exactly. To sanctioning myself to anything that did not align with me, did not align with my values as a person, and they may vary per person, and that's cool. But accepting myself yourself is the hardest thing. Exactly. Because you ain't that great. Listen. You're not that great, babe. Like, not you personally, but all of us listening or may not be listening. You're not that great. Exactly. So the way you become great, or close anyway, is by accepting that your imperfections, but also not to project on other people and be on some, well, I'm like this and that. No. You can change, babe. And here's the thing. You may not perfect that, but you'll get better with practice. And the only way we'll get better is interacting with other people. Because iron sharpens iron. Exactly. Every dude you meet, not you, but any woman watching this, since we're talking about marriage, every dude you meet is not a romantic partner. Every dude you meet may be great.
Right.
He may not be for you, though.
Exactly.
Right? Just, and like, you know, if we want to talk, like, we really want to get to it, like, if we don't know who we are ourselves, we can't be anything to anybody.
Yeah.
And so incubate with community, incubate with people that care about you, incubate with your therapist, incubate in these spaces, and enjoy being single for a while. I've been a big singles person.
Listen.
I've been single most of my life. I am a big singles girl. So I take my time.
On here, okay? They're gonna be like, so has she, y'all.
Big singles girl. My 20s, honey, my 20s owe me nothing.
Listen.
Nothing. Okay? I had a ball.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm still having a great time. Yes. But you know what is my guiding light? It's not my partner. It's not my son. It's not any like superficial. It is what I am supposed to be doing, my purpose.
Yes.
And in order for me to do my purpose, so now that I know my purpose, in order for me to do that, now I got to work backwards. Because now it's like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So what do I need to meet this? Exactly. And what do I need? I need community. I need a partner.
Yeah.
I need community to help me raise my son. I need community to help me build my organization. I need community to do the things that are important to me. I want to be in community with other folks so I can do the same thing because that's what fills me.
And it's your once again, like you keep saying, because I think people get purpose mixed up with a lot of different things. And you will know what your purpose is. And when it is your purpose, and I can say this because I actually was in the process of opening my own restaurant, but I realized it wasn't my purpose and it wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted to push forward.
Come on.
Right? And I had to realize, like, this is really not for me. Like a restaurant, I can run it and I make sure everything is right and because that's my energy.
Yeah.
That the version of people think that I am, right?
But just because you can do it don't mean you should.
Exactly. So I had to really get to a point where I was like, hey, we're like what I want to do. Even though I have other friends, everybody like, man, this is like perfect for you, right? But I had to really step back and say, no. And
you got to define success for yourself.
5 years or 3 years, I can't open a bar and a restaurant, right? It's too much time that I'm gonna have away from my child, my family. If I want to have more kids, my partner, me, like all these different things. This is not for me, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But it also put me in a mindset of, what else are you not doing this? Supposed
Come
to
on,
right?
Because
like
once you start tuning in, you're gonna be like, you know what,
girl,
this don't seem right either.
I'm trying to tell you, listen. I literally, my friend has this book, and I got it right here. My friend has this book that I've been reading. It's literally called "Sis, Is It You?" And I was running from this book for a cool ass minute just because I started reading this book, and I felt like the book was getting too much in my business.
Right, it was personally attacking.
I didn't even want to read it. I didn't even want to write it down because I'm like, she might be able to see it. I don't know. Like, this is in my business, you know? But it really opens up some things. And I'm trying to tell you, like, just being on this journey that I am now to really finding myself, it really, I really like to be alone. I really liked hanging out by myself. I really liked doing things that I forgot how much I loved me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I forgot how much I loved me, and I had to be like, what am I doing? Why am I acting this way? Why am I acting like I need
so busy going? Remember, we talked about this, right? The value in doing.
Yes.
There isn't value in doing. There isn't. You don't have, it's no direction. We just be busy.
We just be busy.
I bet you your babies in this year time, there's stuff that you never use or you probably got one use out of. For what? Right?
Girl.
But at the time, we thought it made sense.
Girl.
I tell people this all the time, especially for folks that don't have access to stuff. Girl. Oh, you don't got a docket top? Cool. Roll up a towel, wrap it around the baby, put a tap and put a pillow up. For real.
Girl, I want to
seriously.
That, you know that $500 and some basically $600 breast pump that you can just put in there and it do it
and it
for
don't
you.
work
Girl, you
for everybody.
Maybe one.
And you can't return it.
And I couldn't return it. You know what did work?
The
what was it?
Medela.
With an H. It was like a hump. You just put it on your. It's like a little clear thing, and you just put it on your boob and suck your boob, and it's like this big. Girl, it's like $12. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we gotta stop. You see what I mean? Like, there is. Okay.
Girl.
Say you live in a studio apartment. You having a baby. Well, I need to move and get a baby room. Do you though? Because babies don't crawl until about 6 months.
Right.
Right. Well, I don't have a nursery and okay. Well, do you have a bassinet? Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's all you need.
But do you know how many?
Oh well, I don't have a changing table, girl.
Do you know how many people will tell you what you need? When I told people I bought, like when I finally told some people I bought a condo, and I was like, it's 2 bedrooms, it's right in the city, because you know everything I do is in the city. They was like, what about you didn't want a backyard for the baby? What about space for the baby? Like all these different things. I literally just had a conversation with my homeboy the other day to tell him I don't want a big house. What for?
I have
even when I
no desire.
Partner,
I personally have no desire.
I don't. Maybe back then, when I was worldly thinking, I thought that's what I needed to have for success.
Well, it's not even worldly, right? It's the overconsumption of things.
Exactly.
We overconsume. Exactly. That's food, that's alcohol, that's sex, that's partners, that's, we're overextending ourselves because we're trying to feel something, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes that's been our only example. Mm-hmm. And I don't fault, like, I like nice stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. But I know that there's an alternate that I could do. Like I have a 65-inch TV. Do you know I got that on Craigslist for $250? I wish I would go spend $1,000 on a TV, right? And I was working at the time, had the means. But to me, I'm like, it works, it's cool, bet. Smart TV, let's go, let's do it, right? And that's how I got a lot of the things in my house, except like big stuff. But we be embarrassed to not have. Exactly. When in actuality, it's stuff that we don't need. How many books? I'm guilty. I'm just in my business right now. How many books have I bought that are sitting on a shelf? I got a shelf right here. I got a shelf in my room of books that's just collecting.
You in my business.
I ain't read one.
You in my business.
Right? Now, books aren't a bad indulgence, right? They're not terrible. Right. But if we use books as an example and we say friends that really aren't our friends, right? Or we say cars that we are not driving all the time, right? Or this enormous amount of sweet snacks that we know we shouldn't be having, instead of consolidating so we can have some, because it's okay to have some stuff sometimes. But like the overindulgence.
Exactly. We
don't need to have these things in like, or go into your closet and you got tags on stuff. Well, I'm gonna get back into that. I'm gonna fit it. Get over it.
Taking it too far now.
Just talk about me. Somebody, hey. Somebody said a $30K watch till the same time a $30 watch.
Listen, he petty. Don't listen to him, y'all. Listen. No, I'm glad you said that.
No, for real.
I was so scared of not having enough money when I had 7, and I had this Rolex that I just adored, and I would make sure I put it on every time just so people knew, like, yeah, I got a Rolex. Like, this is a real one.
That's a real one.
Right? But when I pawned that joint and got that money, and I go out now and I don't have a Rolex, people treat me the same exact way.
I was saying, Francisco was on it. Right. Right. And then, like, staying rich by acting broke. Like, what is acting broke for real? Right? What does acting rich mean for real? Right? And I see people.
Definition of me.
Like, you know what? I have the most fun when I have great conversations, good food, good music. Like, that. Give me that.
Exactly.
But if I got it, I might spend a little something, right? I'm not saying don't enjoy. I'm just saying we do too much.
Yes.
And then we forget ourselves. We start doing stupid shit to uphold these fake fantasies of who we think we are.
That's why
instead of being who we are.
This book right here, girl,
Is it you?
Listen, this book right here, girl, will get you together to let you know.
I think I heard about that.
Girl, what you doing? Yeah. What you doing with yourself? And really, it comes to like, I used to be a huge people pleaser, right? I didn't even realize that I was doing that I was becoming that.
Yep.
And how much I hinder people from thinking I'm doing good by them, and I'm really not.
Nope.
I probably just stepped in the way of their purpose and what God had from them, thinking I'm God. I'm being Cat to save E, you know, and I ain't saving nothing.
Not
like I really have. When I tell you, like, to start a new process of learning and loving me again has not been the easiest. So this healing journey is not easy at all. And I mean, I know I'm not about to be, I'm not going to be done for a while, but just to be able,
you shouldn't expect to be done.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing to fix.
Yes. To reflect and be like,
always.
Okay. To refresh, to reboot, to do all those things, men or women.
Period.
If you need
we need it. We need it. We need it. We need to disconnect. We need to rest. We need to sleep. We need to eat good sometimes. We need to commune with people. Sometimes we just got to vent and get it out. We need it. We need it for real, like full stop.
See the change just without me wearing makeup.
Yeah.
But literally just workout clothes, taking Seven for a walk 2 times a day, making sure that I get up in the morning to take her for a walk.
That's 2 walks she wasn't making months ago.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we saying right now? And I think one of the biggest things, especially like even in birth spaces, it's transformative. You gotta rock with that. You gotta know that. Like, having a baby for your partner is cute, but that ain't gonna get you far, baby, because it's gonna change you whether you want it to or not. Baby, and as we all know, having babies don't keep nobody. Having babies don't make people be parents either, right? I know some folks that are very affluent, have all the things. People be like, well, I just need to have so much money. Okay, let me talk to you about how so much money. So ask somebody, a range of people, what they remember most about their childhood. And it's generally not about how much money was spent. It's always about the experience that I remember we went to so-and-so's house and we did this and like, you know, and
movie night,
right, because you want to be seen. You want to be heard. You want to feel involved. And that's all we all are. We just them same kids.
Exactly.
Want to be involved, want to be heard, want to be appreciated, want to talk mess with and come back and come together and enjoy things together. And there's innocence in that. And a lot of us, our lives have taken our innocence. That's why it's hard to find community. That's why it's hard to be vulnerable, because there is innocence in that. That is not weakness, it is innocence. And me, Andrea, big boss dog, I had to learn that. Like, my no's always meant no. I was on the other side. I wasn't people pleasing nothing. Like, right? So, but that was hurting me. For real. It was really keeping me from what I know is true. That community is important. And if I only had 4 people in my community, but I knew that I could expand it and I didn't do that, then I'm not following my purpose anymore. And granted, not everybody gets inner circle privileges. That's not what I'm saying. No. Everybody's not your best friend. No, but what I am saying, community is not about trauma dumping on everybody and like giving them everything you got, because that is sanctioned for certain people that know you truly, that you can be your softest with, because we need that, because we still have to go out in the world and still do these purposes, right? I could sit up here and cry my eyes out, but no one would have learned anything about what's important. No one would have learned about your experience, which also informs someone else's experience. My experience as a mom and as a doula, it doesn't. We're not doing anybody any favors.
Exactly.
And so wherever you are on the spectrum, I'm constantly always reflecting, always, because that's where growth is, and that's where God is.
Yes.
That introspecting, right? I don't care what type of God you believe in. I don't care if you believe in the universe. I don't care if you believe in natural selection,
Right.
whatever. Your higher power is there, not in your ego, not in you not wanting to change. And I have a lot of stuff I'm still working on. Girl, my temper is still quick, okay? I've gotten a lot better.
Listen, Jace.
But my temper, like certain stuff,
Yes.
my temper is just not like, girl, what like just non-existent, right? Mess with my kid and see how I act.
Down.
You know what I'm saying? Mess with my money and see how I act.
It ain't got nothing to do with me and be pissed off.
Right. But I'm passionate about this work. So that stuff also can take me there.
Yeah.
But I have to temper myself and have people around me to remind me, hey, girl, you're doing too much.
You're doing too much. And that's very important.
You're doing too much.
With any circle. Your friendship
any circle.
Like, I am blessed to say that my best friend and my friends are going to check me.
Same.
You are wrong. You are wrong.
Hey, girl, love you. You're wrong.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And we need that in circles.
Yeah.
It don't matter what it is. Who, what, where, why, whatever. And that should be our point of reference. When you have a good sister circle, support team, village, whatever y'all want to call it, when you have this a circle, that should be your point of reference. So when you know, you like, man, am I true? Ask them. If they really, truly are, they're going to be like, nah, you did too much.
You did too much.
Far.
I get it, but you took it too far, sister. I get it. You took it too far.
Down about 8 notches.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with pregnancy, right? You know, it's only out of 10. So it's like take down 8. That's how my friends be talking to me, like, girl, did you have to? I'm like, listen, girl, I should have that, you know, but it happens.
Yeah, because even now, like, what offends us is, girl, we didn't went down a rabbit hole, but that's okay.
Listen.
It offends us, but I think, and I'll talk for Andrea, I think it's about finding your voice in ways that you haven't used it before. And that's even in this internal mind that we're talking bad to ourselves.
Yes.
And so when someone else does it, it confirms what we are already hearing. That's why we get so mad. If we really didn't believe it and we're not really attached to it, then, you know, then it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But if it does matter to you, and whatever, I'm not saying ignore what people say and take mess, but I'm saying it's worth the introspection to, like, why is it this a 10.5 and why is this a 2?
Exactly.
Right? Can we find some mid ground there to help us kind of navigate? And when I think about pregnancy and the work we're doing, that's all we're doing. Creating balance. And it's doing this. It's not just this, it's this. It's a constant, what do we do? How do we do it? What do we do? How do we do it? How do I feel?
Routine
period.
Or no routine. I hate to tell people like that. With Girlfriends Tribe and, you know, having the events with women, I think that some people are so caught up on, you need balance in your life.
There's no such thing.
Single, married,
don't
not
matter.
Married,
don't matter.
Balance in your life will have you messed up in the head. Okay?
Because it's about the symbiotic relationships with things, and finding and flexing certain muscles to find balance. But in order to grow, you have to feel friction. It doesn't have to be suffering. It just means I'm learning something new. I have to transition. I have to part from my previous way of living because it no longer serves this new life. And I don't mean that in a hippy dippy way. I just mean like, hey, me partying every day, I can't birth babies doing that.
Right.
I got to rest. I have to be prepared. And if I'm not prepared, like what we talking about, speaking of prepared, where's my iPhone? Hold on. Let me just make sure I ain't got no baby text. Hold on.
Right. No, I completely understand. I definitely, you know, it's a process. And I think so many
It is.
people are so stuck on, we got to be balanced. We got to be balanced. You can have a routine,
Mm-hmm.
structure. You know, structure
Yeah.
is way more, to me, let me just say that.
Structure is more
Having
important.
structure in your life is way more important than balance.
Way more important.
You have structure in your life, usually, sometimes I just get a job just so I can have that structure a little bit, right? Then once I
Yeah.
get the structure I need, I'm like, let me go ahead and put my 2 weeks in because now my routine is fine.
Yeah.
Look, now I'm
I
back to
mean, like I said, we're all children still.
yes.
We need
Schedule,
it.
structure, we need that. Just like
We
our
need
kids
it.
need it,
We
right?
also need freedom. We need the sense
Yes,
of freedom. And a
yes,
lot of times we exert it in the overindulgence of things that we're consuming.
yes.
I'm guilty. I'm just talking about Andrea. I'm not talking about nobody else.
Right.
Being guilty of overindulging in
Yes.
whatever it is to compensate for the rigidness that we think we need to have when it's not. It's a balance. When I'm in my business bag, I'm there. I'm executing, I'm doing the things. And when that's done, I literally, no joke, every day at 7 o'clock, I have an alarm and a calendar that says, close your damn laptop.
Right, exactly.
Right? That's structure. Andrea, every day, 10 minutes,
Balance
take some
requires
time.
effective boundaries.
What?
I was reading the
Oh, that.
comment that he
Oh,
just. I guess you could say that, but I mean, balance. I guess means something different to everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Um,
yeah. I think if we talked about like if I had to define balance, I think it's even on a balancing scale, like an actual balancing scale, it's doing this
exactly.
until it finds it. But if you don't take anything else on, then you'll always be balanced.
Right. You'll always be
But if
like
you
that.
take on more things, you're going to be imbalanced for a little bit, but you
Exactly.
find your way to get back there. But real growth comes with adding
Yes.
or
Mm-hmm.
taking things away,
Yes.
right? And so I think to find balance, you have to be okay with letting things go and also accepting new things, which is change.
Right. But you
And
have to put
those
back
changes
off the balance.
can't go against your values. They
Yes.
can't go against your values and the things
Yeah.
that are important to you. They just can't. Because then it's going to be big
Yeah.
imbalance. Now we can't get close to being balanced, or we can't get comfortable or flex the muscles enough because
Right.
it's all a muscle, right? You might think everything's great, but you know, I've experienced that several times over as a
Yeah.
young person.
Mm-hmm.
That is traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to have to kind of go through that at a young age. So
Yes.
finding balance,
Yes.
right? Well, I got pregnant right after my mom passed away. So I had to find balance somewhere.
Right.
Now, where I found that balance worked then, that shit stopped working after 5 years.
Yeah.
That was no longer my mom balance. I had to find it somewhere else.
Right.
Right? And it doesn't invalidate that person or that experience,
Mm-hmm.
but it got me to where I needed to be,
Right.
but it's not a forever thing.
It's not
And really looking at life that way. Like you said,
exactly.
I could have done this restaurant thing, but that wasn't where you needed to be. Just because you could doesn't mean you should. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. It's literally that simple. So that's why I was like, balance means something different to everyone. And I think as a woman, we try to balance things: motherhood, marriage, friends, workspace. Like,
Girl,
girl,
we don't try to balance. We just try to do everything.
right. So I'm like, balance is not really in our, like, yeah,
At
that's
all.
not us. That's for somebody else. That's for y'all men. Okay? But us on this side, we do. And that's why I said structure is very important to me. It's very
I'm
important to me.
not doing nothing
Mm-mm.
I don't want to do. I don't. I'm not going nowhere.
I'm finally getting to that space.
Baby, when I tell you it is the most free.
Listen, I'm finally getting to that space.
The most, no.
Pick somebody else. Is that what they say now?
Yeah.
Pick
Find
somebody else.
somebody else.
Like,
Pick somebody else.
And it's
I ain't
really
going to be
hard
able to do it.
like I said, some things are harder for others than it is. Like you said.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
So me, you know, from the opposite of me thinking that being a people pleaser is not, I didn't realize that's what it was. At first, I just thought that, if
Yeah,
my friends
of course
need me,
not.
if my family need me, or if somebody that I really care about need me, I gotta be available, right? And once you come to the realization that those things, you don't have to be available for everybody. You don't have to
Mm-mm.
spend time with everybody. You
Mm-mm.
don't have to be what you thought your parents wanted you to be or wanted you to do, or what you thought your friends thought you should be or doing. Like, once you really get into that headspace, it's a
Mm.
beautiful thing. And I'm so
Yeah.
happy to be going
And
on this journey. And
yeah,
it's like, it's so
you
refreshing.
know, there's so much more
Yeah.
compassion in being specific in where
Yes,
you give,
exactly.
right? Like, if it's for everybody,
Yes,
then where does it matter,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
If you know, finding what's of value to you
Yes.
is more important than you just giving away every part of you every single time you do something. Like, now, even though I'm not a people pleaser or haven't experienced that, but um, where I did give was people that were so close to me, but
Yeah.
it became imbalanced. I
Yes.
was
Because
giving too much, and
exactly.
then I became resentful, so my no's were rooted in resentment. It wasn't rooted in like, I don't really want to do it. I didn't want to do it in the first place,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
But then saying no became this mean
Right.
response
Right.
to being resent because I was resentful, right? And because no's came easy to me, it was like, well, no, without
Exactly.
consideration for anything because of how I was feeling or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And on the other side to that, now it's like, I can meet you with compassion. I don't
Exactly.
have to be mean to tell you no.
Mm-mm.
I don't have to be mean and say, hey, not right now.
Right.
I don't have capacity, right? It's okay for me to tell my friends, hey, boo, I can't have this conversation with you. Like, sometimes your friends want to come vent.
Yeah.
I can't have this conversation with you right now. Can I try and call you next week or whatever?
I
And
was like,
respecting
right.
that.
Yeah.
And
You
respecting that.
ask it.
Ask, right.
Ask.
I
We have
always
got to
ask.
a place where we
That's probably
ask.
one of my
Yes.
biggest things. Like, and when someone brings me something, how can I support you?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And sometimes folks don't know.
They don't.
But hey, if you think of anything if there's something, and I stop saying, hit me for anything. No.
No. No.
If you think of something, hit
Yeah.
me up and I'll see what I
I,
can do.
I'll
But I'd love to
try to
support
do.
you.
That
I'd
is so
love to support you in this.
yes.
Hey, or hey, you want to come over and just watch a movie? Just feel a
Yeah.
little bit better, disconnect for a minute.
Yes.
Whatever. Do the things that are in Andrea's capacity
Right.
when you're ready.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
anything that I need to do outside of that, then I'm having to find my own, like, how can I really help you? Now, my capacity might be larger now because I'm,
Exactly.
more chilling, but ask me in 2 months. I probably am not going to have that
Exactly.
capacity.
Girl.
Today's yes, maybe tomorrow's no.
I have to tell people, if I tell you yes right now and you wait a few weeks or you wait a month, don't think it's the same answer, because it's not.
Nope.
I can't do it. I ain't
Nope.
got it. Like, and
I get it.
listen, I just have to say it like that, because if you don't, they come back around 30 days later. I'm like, when I asked you and I said, get back to me.
Also, who is this?
Listen,
Who is this?
listen, it's done. No refund.
Listen, none.
No returns, no refunds.
Unsubscribe.
Exactly.
Unsubscribe.
No. But I am, it's ticking us down. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it on your end.
I can't
Sometimes,
see it, but I
yeah,
figured we getting
it's
close.
ticking us
Well, let's
down.
close out.
Listen, I appreciate you
Of
so
course.
much. I'm glad I can have you on my show. We definitely ran way over our time, y'all, but we appreciate y'all for coming in. Please let them know where they can find you,
Yes.
because I know just at the close out who you are, what you do, and why you are this amazing person on the Ebon Show.
Come follow me on my own Instagram. My nonprofit has an Instagram. It's at Birth Ruckus. My organization, Nurture and Flow, has one. It's We Nurture and Flow. I'm really a huge advocate for Black and brown birthing folks. So we are saving lives. I have an event April 22nd. It's our first celebration, y'all. If you cannot make it, just buy a ticket. Support us for real, because we're trying to raise this money to support these doulas, helping 10 families birth babies. So we really need your support. But also, come learn.
Yes.
There's so much to learn. There's a virtual ticket. It's $10.
Oh,
You can learn more about us in
yes.
that space too. It's in LA, but if you can't make it, there's a hybrid option. We have something in May for Mother's Day. We're doing Juneteenth and Father's Day in the Bay. We're doing something fun for that too. So just come and support, come learn, and donate.
Right.
Donate if you got it.
Donate, y'all.
Donate if you got it. I'm serious. We've only sold 3 tickets.
Okay, listen. Wow.
You know, it is what it is.
Right. It is. Listen, it is what it is. We both said at the same time. Listen, it is what it is. Okay.
It is what it
You know?
is. But we are going to celebrate these people, and I'm excited.
I am so excited too. I thank you for coming on the
Of
show
course.
today. I really appreciate you for all the information, all the knowledge that you gave us. You guys heard where you can find her at. Again, you guys are on the Ebon show, or you're not on the Ebon show. You're watching the Ebon show. I'm going to try to be consistent and do this every Tuesday for you guys.
If not,
Again,
I'm going to text you.
listen. Right. And I thank you again for coming on. Once again, authenticity mixed with consistency, you guys, will always equal success. And I will see you next Tuesday with the baby sleep. Okay.
Bye.
So, have a good night. Thank you so
You too.
much. I appreciate you. And I'll talk to y'all through the week. I gotta make my appointment. Okay?
There you go. Bye.
Love you. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye. Okay, 7. It's bedtime, y'all. Okay, mama. What I do? There we go.